This thing is not fun and you cannot change my mind on that. This thing is more volatile than the walking ransom letter, the giant killer robot that's responsible for taking down an entire empire, and I'm not typically one to complain about anything added to Lethal Company. I have thoroughly read through every counter-argument to why the Kidnapper Fox is balanced and how I just need to get good. And to a certain extent, I agree. Getting good at things is part of the fun. Now let's say I can consistently kill the Kidnapper Fox. That doesn't stop me from believing that this thing is just not fun to play against. And this is because all the Kidnapper Fox does is CC. CC stands for crowd control, and what that means is anything that prevents you from doing what you want to do. Look at this Roadhog from Overwatch 1 and tell me he's having fun right now. You can be perfectly adequate in dealing with any challenge, although there's a reason why we don't like underwater levels in Mario is because they're just so annoying to play. You move slow and you're just a lot more floatier than you used to, which is just annoying when most of the game is played without this. And this takes us back to the Kidnapper Fox. The Fox's primary CC is that of its tongue. It can throw it out at you and it will prevent your movement, and it will also make you drop all your items. Now after you drop your stuff, let's say you manage to grab your weapon. You hit the tongue off of you and then it does it again. Oh, that's no problem, I'll just pick it up and do it. It does again. The Kidnapper Fox is consistently annoying with the endless supply of CC. Between its CC and its whopping 7 hits to kill it with a shovel, this thing is by far the best duelist in the game. On top of being the best duelist in the game, this thing is persistent. Once it latches onto you, it never gives up. This thing tried to drown me for a minute 30 seconds, and not once did it ever let go of me. After about 20 seconds of being forcefully drowned, I stopped having any fun, as I realized this thing was never going to give up. I was eventually saved by my friend, although he immediately died for it, because if you hit the Kidnapper Fox with any weapon, it will immediately kill you if it's close enough to you, instead of bringing you back to its nest after you've hit it. Another argument I've heard is if you're not good enough to deal with the Kidnapper Foxes, you should just prevent it with Weed Killer. This is straight up boring, as we kinda need to eyeball how many vein shrouds we need to kill while possibly also dealing with the Kidnapper Fox on top of that. But if you see a couple of shrouds as soon as you land on the moon, it takes little to no time to buy some Weed Killer and kill 2 or 3 here and there. But what if there's 30 of them? You have to deal with shrouds in the daytime rather than the nighttime, otherwise you're probably just gonna die during the nighttime when you're dealing with all of them. But sometimes as soon as you land on the moon, there's already an abundance of shrouds you have to deal with. For me as a solo player, it kinda just feels like a prerequisite just so I can play the actual game. And let's keep this in mind, there's a big difference between the solo version of the Kidnapper Fox and the multiplayer version of the Kidnapper Fox. The multiplayer version of the Kidnapper Fox will always be easier to deal with than the solo version. So keep in mind, I'm approaching this from a solo player's standpoint. Another argument I've heard is just to avoid it. I can't really avoid it if it's right outside my front door, and sometimes in my front door. This is similar to the eyeless dog, although the difference between the fox and the eyeless dog is that the eyeless dog will eventually wander out. The Kidnapper Fox will just wait for you to come back. And that leads me to where I am now. I have over 159 hours in the game and I've always enjoyed my time playing it. But for the first time ever, I'm not having fun. But what's great about Lethal Company is how easy it is to mod it. And for me, I'm going to install a No Kidnapper Fox mod. I like everything about Lethal Company, although this is the one entity I feel like I cannot have fun with as long as it's in the state that it is in. So unless a new strategy comes out to deal with it, I'm personally just going to get rid of it for the time being.